if you were to go back to when you were in either high school or college, what is the best piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
I think the best thing you can do is make sure that you're focusing, as lame as it sounds, on your grades, because you got to get that piece of paper. When you get the piece of paper, then you can do just about anything you want with it, even if the piece of paper says you're a psychology, finance, art history, anthropology, business, engineering, just to get the piece of paper.
Absolutely. And what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I'm in business.
You're in business. Okay. And from what you've seen in the business world, whether it's just a certain skill set to have or whatever it may be, how can someone become wealthy in 2022?
Man, I think a lot of it is work ethic. I think that if you, we're in a bit of a conundrum right now, man. I think that we have a generation and maybe a couple generations after it that feel like they deserve something or that they're going to be given something. The world's a cruel, cruel place, man. And I wish it wasn't, but you got to bust your butt. If you come out, work hard, give it all you got every single day, leave the world a better place today than it was yesterday, the world will smile upon you and take care of you.
So you'd say that entitlement's probably a big problem, is kind of what you're saying there.
It's scary, man. I hire people every day, and it's tough to see people come in and expect something to end up in their palms. But the ones that come in and work for it, day in, day out, not hesitant to reply to an email at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, happy to help schedule something on a Saturday, those are the ones making the big bucks.
Wow. And so you're hiring people. Are you a business owner?
I'm not. I'm the vice president of Austin Fraser upstairs.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. And I guess from what you've seen, what is your best piece of advice for someone who's aspiring to pursue entrepreneurship in 2022 and start a business?
I think the best thing you need to do, it's difficult because we're not going to reinvent the wheel, right? There's only so many ideas. It's great to watch Shark Tank and see all these really cool ideas, new things coming to fruition. But at the same time, if you can find your niche, if you can differentiate, you can provide a value in a place that people may not even realize that there's value to be added, that's when you can find a place to make a buck.
Absolutely. And so we're launching our Canvas e-commerce store. And so we have a quote here that says, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." And it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So throughout your career, or I'll ask, what is the biggest risk that you took throughout your career?
It's funny because this quote was my senior quote in high school yearbook, and I think it's awesome. I think the biggest risk of getting into entrepreneurship today.
What is the biggest risk that you took throughout your career?
Biggest risk that I've taken through my career is probably changing industry, leaving something that I felt really comfortable and going into something that I had no idea what I was getting into. Here I am 7 years later in a much better place than I was. I was cushy, I was comfortable, I knew what I knew, and I was kind of afraid of what I didn't know. But when I left that comfortability zone and went outside that circle of influence, I feel like the area of uncomfortability is where you actually start to grow and you're forced to develop skills, you're forced to change habits, you're forced to change lifestyle and adapt, and that's when growth happens.
Wow. And so I'll just ask one follow-up to that and then one last question. But you had mentioned you force yourself to kind of be uncomfortable. There's also the saying that, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Why do you think that's important to try new things or, go into different waters that might not be that you're used to?
If you can become comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you're constantly evolving, you're constantly growing, you're constantly giving yourself exposure to things that you might not typically seek. And when you uncover things that you're not looking for, that's when opportunity starts to appear, right?
Absolutely. And that just great answers. And I'll ask one last question. What are your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
So I love cryptocurrency. We're in a bit of a bad spot right now, a dip, but everybody says buy the dip, right? Find ourselves in 40 years, it's like PTSD thinking buy the dip, but maybe we'll all be driving Lamborghinis, we'll be in a great spot. I play all the meme tokens, which is probably not the best move. I think there's some longevity in some of the more stable tokens, but I think crypto's a pretty speculative asset at the moment, but it's a fun one anyway.
Absolutely. And so I guess I'll just ask for your advice to people who are very new to cryptocurrency and looking to start investing in it. What to you makes like a worthy investment of a project, or like why would you like invest in a certain like project versus like another one? Like what stands out to you?
There's a couple things. First of all would be don't invest more than you can afford to lose. That goes with anything, whether we're in Vegas or whether we're playing the stock market or crypto. And I think secondly would be what's impacting not just your own financial well-being, but what's impacting the world. What's making the world a better place? What's giving us longevity? What's breaking us away from the evil dollar, right? And the government's associated with those dollars. Not to get all philosophical, but I think if you can make an impact on the world by your investments in crypto, it's kind of a win-win situation.